Hey, what's going on? My name is Brian. If you are in a position to where you want to start an eBay store and eventually go on to starting your own storefront, we were able to do it. We got the keys. It took us 4 months to make it happen, and we want to show you the process. We want to show you how we did it. So, if you like these type of videos, the POVs, anything in that trading card, Pokemon, TCG world, that's where we are. And we're not any gurus or trying to show you what's the right way, the wrong way. We're just showing you our way and showing you our journey. We're going to be pretty heavy on this YouTube going into the future, between going to card shows, running the shop, POVs, trades, buying, selling, all that fun stuff. And we want you to come along for the ride. So let's go check stuff out. We've already started working on this building, getting stuff going, and we're pretty excited to start showing you and bringing you along the way. So welcome to Safari B Cards. As we mentioned outside, we did start an eBay page from January, and then by April we were signing a lease for this space here, just because we were outgrowing our spot at home. So I keep telling people, like, this was not on my bingo card in December when I was looking into 2026, but partnering up with Bobby on this project, it's been a whole lot of fun, and it's been just something that I didn't know I had so much passion for. Like many of you guys, you grow up your whole life in this market. It's even weird to call it a market. It's just a hobby you had growing up. You grew up with it, and it's always been a fun experience. But from there, it's kind of spiraled into what it is today. I don't know if it's good or bad. We're having a lot of fun with it. So this whole page, this whole point is really just to let you guys follow along the journey. I know a lot of it is cliche and it's redundant on Instagram and social media, and everyone's trying to show off their journeys and stuff. But we believe everyone's got their own unique story, and if this is something that'll add value to your life, it's entertaining, or if it's someone that you're in the same boat where you want to do the same thing, it's not as hard as you think. So to start off things today, when we got into the shop earlier, we started taking down the lights. First, we had to find the breakers and make sure all that stuff got turned off. Once we were able to get turned off and safely know that everything's dead, we were able to recess the lights higher up in the ceiling. Earlier during the day, I went to Home Depot and bought a couple more panels. They make a pack of 8. We only needed 6, or 5. So we were able to move those around pretty easy. And get one by one. It did take a little time at first, but once we got things going, it was a lot quicker. My idea was originally just to sell them and to get rid of them, but he was essentially telling me they're pretty worthless just because they're not the newer style bulbs. So we just recessed them higher up in the ceilings, so in case we ever did want to put them back when we leave, it's still there, and we can wire them right back up. But essentially, we're going to have spotlights for all our display cases. So while he was able to knock that out and move that stuff around, from there, moving this light was a big one just because of the space that we're going to use here. This was here. We don't want to spend more money than we need to. This is a 3-year lease, and we don't really plan on being here past 3 years. I think if we're here at the end of 3 years and we're happy here, we're either going out of business or we desperately need to scale and go to a bigger space. First thing I did after Deontay left was unmount this from the wall. Luckily, there's literally 4 screws holding it with wall plates there. So I was able to slide that over. Once that's all slid over, I'll be able to measure and see where our partition wall is going to be. Because we're going to have safes back here, and everything's going to be locked up and secure. This isn't going to be a spot where you can just walk in and grab stuff and walk out. You see the snatch and grabs on social media all the time, and inevitable, if someone's going to break in, it's going to happen. But we're going to make it a real pain in the ass for somebody if they do want to do anything here. So just making sure we have enough space for safes. We're probably going to have a couple here. Racks for our bulk buying. So this will kind of be like an inbound, outbound station. Essentially the eBay store we're going to run separately from our storefront and our website, just because it's just too much to try to make all work simultaneously. easier said than done, especially when it's bulk. There's thousands and thousands of cards that we're going through. So to make it make sense, we're probably going to have just a table here. So me and Bobby will both have our stations where we can work on stuff. This will be a station for inbound, outbound, metal storage containers and lock boxes, just so everything's tight. I mean, most of the stuff in the store, especially on this backside, is all going to be bulk. It's literally, if you don't have a system in place like we do, it's not even worth really stealing because no one else is really going to give you anything for it. So like all the sealed cases and stuff that, we carry, we're not going to keep in the shop for people to pick up. And with how limited hours we're going to be, because me and Bobby still both work day jobs. With that being said, with both working day jobs, we're probably going to only be open on the weekends to begin, on Saturday and Sunday. And just do that as needed. And if the demand's there, we can always open up for other times. But we have our cases coming as well. So like right now where you're lined up is going to be the partition wall, that side to this side. This is the front. This here, I mean, it's a small space. We're going to have a 4x8 rack just so we can hold sealed product. This will be all racked out here for sealed product as well. There's like a 3-inch kickback here on this wall that we're going to have to figure out. Along the partition wall that we have, we're going to have multiple cases that we ordered. We got them custom ordered from Japan. They'll be coming here hopefully by like mid-July. Our goal is to open up in August to the public on the retail side. We'll be working our normal operation, moving from where we're at to this location in that meantime. But the cases are cool. They're 6 feet. They only stick out 18 inches. If you ever watch POV videos of people buying cards in Japan, it's the same type of cases as those. We knew with this small of a square footage, big boxy traditional display cabinets really didn't work for us. So being able to have multiple cases through here and then along this entry wall, when you walk in, we have 10 cases coming, and roughly each full display case can hold about 140 cards. So with all that being said, we should be able to hold roughly 1,300 to 1,400 depending on how everything stacks out. So it is a lot of products, but at the same time, we are the type, we like to sell at market or below market. We're a volume type space. We want to get stuff moving. We want inventory to be fresh. The intentions with opening this retail space is a easy come, easy go. If you got a deal, you probably got it from us kind of thing. And just do it by volume, by numbers. We're not trying to pinch every penny. We don't really care if, the market jumps up 10% on a card the next week. When we put something out on the floor, we're already going to mark it up, or not mark it, but we're going to price the card with our margins already there. So it may be a 10% margin, maybe 30% margin. You don't know what it is exactly. But situationally, like once we price a card and it's out on the floor, we're not going to take the time to, check every week to make sure we get an extra $1 or $2 off of each card if something moved in the market. And if something went down and a customer brought it up to us, we would happily, be able to give them that difference and move on from that. So that's the kind of spot we want to be. We understand that we are running a business, but with so much going on and so much cards and inventory going in and going out, we understand like what your limits are without having to hire more employees and more help. So it is a lot. Surprisingly, it hasn't been too much of a stress with me and Bobby talking about this. It's more of like stressful at first, but then once we get into it, for an example, by the time we got the keys for the lease, we were like, all right, cool. Like, what's the next step? And then like it didn't even get exciting when we got into the place. It was like, all right, cool. It's an office. What do we do from here? How can we grow? What's the next step? But now that a lot of that stuff's going, from here, now it gets exciting. So we were gonna rip the carpets out and do hardwood floors, but with us only being here for 3 years, it just doesn't make sense financially to add that in there. The wall separator, so to be code, so we don't have to have contractors and stuff come in, You can have a partition wall, which is just a wall that doesn't go all the way up to the roof. By having it only at a certain height, it can effectively break off the front from the back, and that can be the back end and the storefront up front. We don't need to pull permits or anything like that. So I'd have to say, coming from my background with graphic design and branding and business ventures over the years that I've done, the aesthetic of the standard card shop, I'm not a big fan of. I don't love. I understand it, but we're really going to try to build this out like more of like a clothing boutique. Being such a small space, like we don't have space for people to hang out for an hour or two. It just doesn't make sense. Like 10 people in our showroom is going to be pretty darn full. So we want to build it out to where it's like, all right, if it's not a place you can hang out, when you do walk in here, like there is like a wow factor. And between good branding and promotions, and we want this to be like, you don't live at a coffee shop, but you like to go there, you like to get a product, you get your cup of coffee, and it's a part of your weekend. And a lot of people, you have the regulars, you go to that same coffee shop over and over. We want to be that essentially for the card shop. So when you're out running your errands on the weekend, hey, let's pull up to Safari Bees, let's see what they got going on this week, and hopefully, even though we'll have a massive amount of inventory on the front end, we'll be able to on a weekly basis, move through that product. Because once it sits on the floor for like a week or two, we're just going to scan it into the system on eBay and just get it moved and get it sold. So I am rambling a bunch. This is our first episode. I hate being on camera. My whole life, I've always been behind the camera. So I'm really forcing myself to be on this side of the camera. With that being said, fighting the fears and doing something fun and just showing people, if you're in that same boat where you want to go out and do something, press record, start, figure out what you can figure out, and, take that next step. Because the reality, life can always surprise you. I'm standing in this room right now getting ready to open a card shop with what's starting to become one of my best friends. When in reality, like, we were talking about it in December, and he kept bringing it up to me over and over. Brian, we should start a card shop. We can do this. We can do this. This is a great way of doing it this way and that way. And it wasn't even a card shop. It was a card business and on eBay. And when that did come up, when that did happen, I think I got home from work, and it was like the beginning of December. And I remember I came home. I was like, all right, we're going to shut up about this. Either we're going to do it or we're not going to do it. And we literally grabbed the computer like at 10 o'clock at night, signed up, got our LLC, got our business license, got our federal tax ID number, and figuring it out from there. We're no experts. I guarantee if someone came into the shop and they're asking us about, do you know the set from 2016 that came out in August? Like, I don't know, man. But I love cards, and I love this environment. I love the community of everything that's about it. Hanging out with friends, if you're like me, you've had countless friends over the years that are in and out of the hobby, and they're always enjoying it. And it's just a good part. And I feel like the world kind of needs that more than anything right now, how negative stuff can be. So anyways, thanks for checking it out. This is episode 1. If you want me to, I can later go on to other areas and talk about like what startup costs have been, what we've been able to do to keep stuff down on price, shopping around for rent, how to find places, how to find product, how to get stock, yada, yada, yada. We can go through it all, whatever you want to do. We're kind of an open book. Everything that we're doing is what people are already talking about they're doing on the internet. We're just finding what we like and what makes sense to us, and we're going on to that next step. So I'm Brian, Safari Bee Cards. Bobby will probably be with us on the next episode. I know they're going to be coming in this weekend. They're going to be painting the roofs, painting the walls, getting everything set up there, and then we'll start building that middle wall. But other than that, just follow us on Instagram, SafariBeeCards.com. Check out our eBay. We have, I think, like over 8,000 listings of whatever you may need. If you're the type that likes to build sets and put collections together, we got a little bit of everything for everybody. So right on, guys. Have a good one.